Hi, I'm Dave Sullivan. I'm Area Manager for Yara UK. Today I'm with James and Alistair, who is being our Davy Bailey for the day. The Heaths who farm in Shropshire. And we're getting together today to discuss our findings and our results on the BIOTRAC trials that we carried out on their potato crops. We carried out 2 trial areas. One was on Taurus, and the other was on Challenger. And one trial was unirrigated and the other was irrigated, is that correct?
Yes, the Challenger was unirrigated and the Taurus that are behind us for the irrigated trial.
Brilliant. And I think, if I'm right in saying, we did 2 applications, as I say, 3 litres a hectare. One was around tuber initiation, and I think you said the other was at tuber bulking?
Yeah, tuber bulking, yeah.
And what did you do with your crop lift on that as well?
So we went through with 5 kilos of crop lift, which we applied with the blight spray across the whole field. Then once we'd finished the field, we then put the BIOTRAC on the actual trial areas straight after. So the whole field was applied with 5 kilos, but as per the trial area also had the 5 kilos of crop lift alongside it.
So when we look at the irrigated trials that we did, we were growing Taurus, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
What were your findings?
So on the Taurus, we actually saw a decrease in yield of about 2.5 tonne to the hectare. But despite that, we saw better tuber numbers. The better tuber numbers actually led to a more uniform spud when we actually came to harvesting it, which of course is a lot better for the market that we're aiming for, which is the crisping market. So that benefit alone outweighed it. We saw a better skin finish with very little scab, well, no scab on the actual trial area, as opposed to that field can see a bit of scab on that soil type. So that was a noticeable benefit also.
Right. So overall, you would say that the product has worked for you?
Yeah. So we've been using biostimulants for a few years, and this is a trial that we've done with Yara and yourselves, and yeah, I've been very chuffed with it so far. Biostimulants, it can be a bit of a muck and magic market a bit, and some things we have used haven't worked, but it's noticeably on the marketable yield of these Taurus potatoes, which are going for crisping. Yeah, we saw a benefit.
And you did find as well that feeding the crop lift alongside the biostimulants, do you think that helped as well?
Yeah, so again, we've tried lots of different foliar feeds throughout the crop, and for many years now we've been using different things, and one of my personal favourites in growing the potato is crop lift. We see good results from it, and we have time and time again. I think the crop lift gives the crop that little bit it needs, and then the biostimulant alongside it, and it just gets going. We did see them senesce a little bit earlier, but because they put more tubers in, produce more tubers, should I say, and we got that better sort of size and uniformity, I think the crop had decided it was time to pack up and go. So, which isn't a bad thing, because with dry matters we want to ensure we have the right dry matters for the crisping if we can as well. So.
Brilliant. And I think you mentioned to me as well, it was you've tried various different things, but you seem to feel that the BIOTRAC is a more cost-effective way of treating it than others that you've used?
Yes, so there are other products that we used, and there's certain ones we've been using for a number of years as well as the crop lift and stuff. But in terms of it, when I've gone back through the figures, which I've been doing this time of year now, once we've got harvest out of the way, and looking back at it, the BIOTRAC system of the 2 applications with the application of crop lift alongside allows me to still put in some of the other micronutrients that we want to, such as boron. We use quite a bit of boron in our potatoes now. We're going with mag, a bit of calcium, and I can put them in blight sprays without interfering with what I want to do on the biostimulants. So yeah, from my opinion, 2 applications of the biostimulant with crop lift, and then me being able to then carry on the blight sprays with other straight nutrients that I want to do is a lot more beneficial than maybe having to go in every single blight spray with one biostimulant and worrying about how it mixes with other things.
So moving on then, if we can look at the unirrigated land, which I think was Challenger, is that correct?
Yeah, Challenger for fries this time, not for crisping. So.
Okay, and what did you find benefits wise, yields, etc.
So the Challenger, we saw an increase in yield of 4.8 tonne to the hectare. So that alone, that alone was a nice increase. But not only did we see the increase in yield, we saw benefits from the crop in terms of the uniformity, again, of how it was. Very similar to the to the irrigated crops. And the marketable yield has been a big benefit for us on that Challenger crop, because we've had a lot of crops this year that were unirrigated and have struggled. They've thrown good tuber numbers, which we'd like, and give us the benefit for all the yield, but unfortunately with the heat, they've run out of steam before they've got to where we want them to be. Which is hence why we think the BioTrac has worked for us, because it's enabled us to get less of that fraction in the mids. So we've still got a saleable yield. It's not the biggest yield we want, but it's still a saleable yield, which has gone to the factory, and we've managed to make a crop out of it. So to us, that in a season that's been difficult, that's a massive benefit.
Good, good.
Again, we go back to the irrigated though, and you look at how we did with that crop. And I think next year we want to carry on and try again with BioTrac, and hopefully we'll see in maybe more of a, I say usual season, we haven't had one of them in a few years, but in more of a usual season, we might see this benefit of yield increase, because we've got bigger spuds as well as the uniformity, which is what the end game we want to see really.
So realistically then, what you're saying, am I right in saying that you're going to use BioTrac on both irrigated and unirrigated across the board next year in the main?
Yeah, so at the moment we're running biostimulants and a different crop nutrition regime on about 100 acres to 120 acres. I think we're probably going to roll that out over to half the acreage, to 200 acres next year, and I'd like to see at least half of it being BioTrac and see how that's going to work alongside what we've done, because definitely from the first year there wouldn't be any reason not to. And cost wise, when I've gone through the figures, as I said before, it is on the better side of the cost compared to some of the other things we've been doing at the moment. So.
And I think it would be beneficial the next stage from doing like a strip trial that we did this year. You'll get a better feel for it if you do more whole field trials next year. As you say, even if you just do half of what you're going to be growing, you'll get a better feel, I would have thought.
Yeah, from the beginning, you know, everything that we've done, whether it's on nutrition, where it's been starter fertiliser and everything, we've always tried little areas within the fields, and eventually you do it for a year, you try it, and then you roll out to sort of half the acreage, and if it's worked, then eventually it would end up being the full acreage.
Absolutely.
As well. So yeah, nothing different from that. We you know, the key thing to a crop is keeping it healthy. If it's healthy and it's vibrant and it's going, it can fight itself through a lot of things, whether it's stress from heat, stress from waterlogging, or even stress from disease. And if we can get the nutrition right and build it in, and everything like BioTrac, biostimulants and all that all help to the healthy crop, which at the end of the day, our main margin is a healthy, good yield. So.
Brilliant. Well, I think I'd like to just thank you and your brother for doing the trials for us, and we'll monitor it again next season. Yep. We'll do some more plot digs next year, and see where we go from there.
Yeah, no, we look forward to doing it again. So.
Excellent, thank you.